Well, you guys saw the title of this video, so expect cringe. So, I've been meaning to do a video like this for a while. You know how I used to do parodies of the Senran Kagura franchise in the style of abridged parodies? Yeah, I'm just going to look back and provide commentary on what I did back then, just to see if I've improved up until now. So, let's just roll the footage. Oh dear fucking Christ, my audio was so bad back then. Fun fact, even though it was like 3 years ago today that I made the first Senran Kagura abridged video, I used my Turtle Beach headset mic, which I am actually using right now in this very video. But I guess I had my audio settings busted as hell back then because I sound horrible back then. Like 3 years ago, I sound like absolute crap, but now you guys are hearing me and straight into it, dear God. And I think, like, why did I use the censor sound effect? Oh my God! Oh, lip syncing. Oh, wait. Several things here. I did Estival versus Abridged's first chapter completely out of order, considering the order is Gessen, Heavy Joe, Hanzo, and then Crimson Squad, but I did it in the order that I thought was correct. Hanzo, Crimson Squad, Heavy Joe, and then Gessen. But, Estival was my first Senran Kagura title for the PS4 at the time, so I had no idea what the fuck I was even doing. And secondly, everyone swore like a sailor, and I just did censors for funny effects. I honestly had no clue what I was doing when I was putting this together back then, but everything that I've done involving Senran Kagura is unscripted, including the shorts that you guys have been seeing up until today. So, not a lot of things have made sense, and I think my unscriptedness shows most of all in these abridged parodies. So, it starts in the Hanzo scene where Asuka is complaining that Katsuragi is being, well, Katsuragi. So that's typical Senran Kagura fare. I tried to keep everybody in character, but just oh my God. I look back on these all the time and I just cannot help but cringe because like I love Senran Kagura, but the stuff that I did with it just makes me fucking cringe. Like, the lip syncing is awful, the audio is awful, and this was my first step into voice acting, well, fan dubbing stuff, and I like to think that I'm doing better these days, but not by a whole lot as compared to this. Oh my fucking God. As to how I characterized everybody, well, like I said, everything is unscripted, and I did not refine my character voices as I did nowadays, because I think everyone sounds the bloody same. And I did a lot of cheap shots at the characters at the time, because back then I did not like Hibari, and Katsuragi's line back then says a lot about how I felt. And I bumped up Yagyu's horniness for Hibari to unfathomable levels, which I honestly think that Marvelous did themselves nowadays, with Hibari being uncomfortable. And then the glowing light ex machina, because in Estival vs. Proper, Yumi is the first one to see this, but I made it how Katsuragi finds it first. Asuka freaks the fuck out, and then Katsuragi says, "Oh, it's a boob goddess. Let me feel him." Then Asuka and the others are pretty much trying to figure out what Katsuragi's talking about. I think Asuka mentions that Katsuragi's on medication to suppress her urges, so to speak, as she says in a few lines up ahead. Come on, I think. Say it. No, Ikaruga just says to calm down. Yep, she said it. Katsuragi, take your meds. Like, what the fuck was I thinking back then? Okay, enough. Oh, DBZ sound. Metal Gear. I am just fucking cringing at this. Back then, I was using Cyberlink Power Director to edit these, and the effects in that were not very good. And now the Hanzo Academy group are facing off against a bunch of mooks while on a beach. Yagyu points out the obvious, and then a bunch of mooks show up from off camera. No wait, Katsuragi then suddenly turns into her swimsuit. That wasn't even my doing, that was in the game. Oh, yay, Katsuragi bringing out her inner lesbian. Oh, oh my god. Ikaruga, calm down! No, they're not. They're not even on screen.
Well, if they decide to attack us, they're still going to die.
Wow.
Could you be any more dramatic? We just have to defend ourselves. Let's do it!
Sorry if there's not much commentary. I'm just trying to pull together my thoughts. Yay, my favorite team of renegades.
So, why are we here again?
Back then, I used a voice modulator for Mirai because my voice could not go back that deep. And I believe my Hikage voice was my natural speaking voice back then. Homura be sleepin', and I think I used a high-pitched voice for Homura back then, but I tried to base it off of Iri Kitamura nowadays because that's her Japanese voice actress, but I didn't know what kind of voice I used for Homura back then. Like I said, did not refine the voices at all. And my Haruka sounds nothing like it does nowadays.
She's preparing for that obligatory final battle that she has with Asuka in every one of these games. It always happens.
Yomi breaking the fourth wall.
Game? What the hell are you talking about, Yomi?
Mirai makes a good point.
You know we're in a video game, right? That final battle between
I
Asuka
tried so hard to make Yomi Deadpool back then, and it shows in this recording because Yomi broke the fourth wall every chance she got, and I'm not sure why I made her do that. And I think I made Hikage have an insane love for dumplings back then. I'm not sure why. Yomi notices the glowing light ex machina. I think.
What is that? It's so bright.
It's a glowing light, Yomi.
We've really been
Haruka thinks that Yomi is hallucinating, and I think she may have been doing so.
It's really
Oh,
there.
Yomi swears.
Holy fucking torch tits! What is that?
And what Mirai just said was kind of the catchphrase for this series, because holy fucking torch tits sounds like a fun thing to say, so that's why I... And Homura is dreaming about fighting Asuka again, because I think the running gag at the time was Homura was obsessed with Asuka, and that was one of the things that I wanted to make fun of back then. Oh, sudden transition.
What the fuck is happening? Where the fuck are we? Somebody fucking tell me what's fucking going on. Homura is fucking confused.
That's a reasonable reaction.
Showed up while you were sleeping.
And once again, using a high-pitched voice for Mirai. That was kind of difficult to do back then, even though I kind of pitched my own voice up while using one of the basic voices I had for one of the characters. And thank...
Want, dumbass?
Oh. And people taking shots at Homura's intelligence. That's something that happens in the games proper, and,
Asuka, where are you? I want to finally finish things with you.
bringing out your inner Vegeta there, Homura.
But Asuka doesn't appear to be anywhere in silent.
Poorly voiced wife makes a good point.
Hold that thought. Hostiles inbound.
Hostiles inbound from off-screen.
Badass. I say we do the right thing and scramble.
Hikage makes an egg pun.
Boss man, what do we do?
What's the plan, boss man?
Mirai, what do you think we're gonna do? I say we kick their asses so hard that they're not gonna be able to feel them.
My god, these were awful. So, I think some of the comments I got on this saying that this is a pile of shit were well deserved back then. Because, oof. Thank god I've gotten better nowadays, but looking back on the first episode of Senran Kagura Estival vs. Abridged, it was awful. Thank god I've improved my voices since then. Episode 2. And I, for some reason, started using an intro for these, which were just clips from the game proper. And those transitions were from Wondershare Filmora, which I was using at the time. And, Yeah, I used Endless Possibility for Sonic Unleashed, and I am not sure why I did so. And I believe this was the remainder of the teams, which I did in order, which were, oh yeah, Hebiju Academy, like I mentioned earlier. And, like I said, voices were not refined. I should have probably mentioned this, but when I got Estival Versus, I had no idea who the new Hebiju Academy team even were, because I did not play Shinobi Versus at the time. So I just thought this was a new generation of Senran Kagura at the time, but now that I played Shinobi Versus proper, I know who Hebiju 2.0 is. So, yeah. I had next to no knowledge of the Sony timeline back then, so Imu, Murasaki, Miyabi, Robi, and Riona were new characters to me, so I really should have played this series in order. Even though Senran Kagura 2 was my first Senran Kagura game, and I kind of knew the gist of the story so far because the game explains what happened in between the games, I believe. But Estival Versus expects you to go in knowing everything up until that game, so... And 2017 Potato had no fucking idea. Oh, and Glowing Light Ex Machina. I basically went beat for beat when the Glowing Light showed up, except that I tried to apply my own brand of humor, which was mild swearing. I should have mentioned I was 19 when I made these, and 19-year-old Potato had no fucking concept of comedy, so I'm really glad I stopped doing these, because I had no idea what the hell I was doing. At least I grew these into the Senran Kagura shorts, which are much better in my opinion, because I just... I just look back on these and cringe. As for voicing the new Hebiju team, I tried to give Murasaki a high-pitched voice like she is in canon. I'm not sure what I based Imu and Miyabi off of, but I believe my Imu voice is basically the same as it is nowadays, and my Miyabi voice is just a pitched down Ikaruga, because I think I had a definitive voice for her back then. More DBZ sound effects. Potato, stop what you're doing. And back then, I was more of a fucking idiot, because I messed up Imu's age. I thought she was way younger than Miyabi, but nope, they are the same age. So, good job, Potato, you messed up. And, the light seems to be getting bigger, Imu. You might want to watch out.
That light's getting bigger.
Shit. Good job, Murasaki. That was not a scream that I was proud of. Okay. I think I used more DBZ sound effects here. Yep. Oh, dear God.
What in the living just happened?
What in the fuck just happened, Miyabi, is that you're stuck in a terrible parody. I'm not even trying to jab at myself here. I think that these are genuinely awful, and I'm honestly glad I got better as a voice actor, but, these were just... Oy. But for some reason, people liked these enough to actually give them attention, so I guess that's a good thing. Made a lot of friends because of these parodies, and without them, I guess I wouldn't have gotten into Senran Kagura enough as it is, because... oof. And I believe this is where we get to Gessen. Yep. Like with Hebiju 2.0, I had no idea who the Gessen team even were, because again, did not play Shinobi Versus at the time. For some reason, as a running gag, Shiki referred to Minori as Magikarp, because at the time I didn't like Minori either. Did Minori just call Shiki a cunt? Oh my god, what was I thinking back then? And... like in the games proper, Murakumo has a deeper voice when she has her mask, but I think without her mask, I made a direct reference to DBZ. My god. My god, my god, my god, my god, my god. These were absolutely awful. And I was enough of an idiot to mispronounce Murakumo's name back then, because I accidentally referred to Murakumo for years as Murakamo. Like, Oh, look at Minori being cute.
If
But,
you don't
oh.
shut the fuck up right now, I'll smack you so hard you'll turn American. Get me?
Oh yeah, I just had to drive in the point that everyone was Japanese, so Yozakura, amongst other characters, would make threats to slap the Japanese off of people and turn them American.
Hey,
You know,
no
what the
problem.
fuck was I thinking?
Everyone's gotta
Oh,
come to these guys'
glowing light
dad's.
ex machina. Again.
Freaking weak.
Yozakura throwing shade, Yumi gets offended, and then I think the glowing light shenanigans happen as per the norm.
The hell are you talking about?
Ooh, glowing forehead.
Sakura, there's definitely someone behind you.
I love how even in the games proper, no one notices the glowing light until they're sucked into Sayori's pocket dimension. And then Shiki and Minori do a musical number for some fucking reason. Then again, these were unscripted, so anything could have happened. But I am terrible at writing scripts, so that's why I went with the unscripted approach. Murakumo is suddenly Christian. Okay.
Mama's not going down.
And everybody thinks they're gonna die because of the glowing light, because of divine intervention, or some bullshit. But
Dimension.
I was not using my brain during the production of these, and at least with the Senran Kagura shorts, I think of some idea to make into a short, but I had no idea what I was doing when I was making the abridged parodies of Estival Versus and eventually Peach Beach Splash. Oh, and the Ninja Flash ones as well, but we'll get into that if I have more motivation to make more commentaries on this. But, oh, Gessen's at the beach now. And I'm just now noticing that everything is zoomed in, and I think in-game there's an option to remove the text boxes while you're in the visual novel segments of the game, but I was too much of an idiot to realize that, so
Kidding me, Gavin?
we're just stuck with weird resolution at all times.
Party and hang out like we usually do.
I was also, again, using Cyberlink Power Director at the time to edit these, and I think I eventually used Premiere Pro in some of the episodes, but massive oof. And that's where it ends. My god, these were awful looking back on them, but for some reason people like them enough. Oh, and back then I was using Hikage as my avatar, but as a general, I guess, in a red colored version of her shinobi outfit. So that was a thing. Yeah. Overall, these Senran Kagura parodies that I did back in the day, like 3 years ago, they were awful. But without them, I honestly don't think I would have improved as a voice actor. At least not until I got down to voicing Haruka all the time and refining my voice for her. And as the Senran Kagura shorts went on, I think I've gotten better. Oh, and when I use the Senrans in my videos. So, I guess those are my thoughts on the first 2 episodes of Estival vs. Abridged, if you guys wanted to know my thoughts on them 3 years later. And to those of you that have subscribed to me, thanks, and because of those videos, thanks. I mean that, even though they were kind of cringe, looking back on them now. But if you guys want me to look over my older Senran Kagura content like I did in this video, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll do commentary on the other episodes as well. Not guaranteeing that I'm going to do Ninja Flash Abridged, because you know how strict Funimation is about their copyright, and it's Funimation. They suck. That being said, see you guys in the next video. Till then.